right, y'all. While I was on live, I got a call from my children's school because my son is over there cussing. He got sent to the principal's office because he out there cussing. Lord. Oh, man. And it's crazy because he's always on me. Mom, stop cussing. Hey, Bree. Girl, Michael in the principal's office for cussing. I'm like, Lord, Lord, Lord. The little boy who is, you literally hear him in the background of video saying, Mom, stop cussing. He over there got kicked out of the classroom and can't participate in the activity they're doing because he over there cussing. So now I got to deal with this. Don't it just bother you when your kids make you have to parent? Like, I don't want to do this kind of parenting. I don't want to yell at you about cussing. Like, if you cussing, you know you ain't supposed to be cussing. So don't get caught cussing. Right? Like, I can't control what these kids do when they ain't in front of me. So just be smart enough not to get caught. But he over there popping his stuff, and he popped his stuff to the wrong person, and apparently he got in trouble. So I had to go through the thing in my head. Am I going to be the old mom that will go up to the school and pull up and make a scene and all those different things, you know, pull him out of what he's doing? But it's 1:11. Let's go through that portal. You know, I don't want to be that mom anymore. I don't want to embarrass my children. I don't want to make up 111. It's a portal. That's what, see, when you go and you look up your angel numbers, and those of you who are unfamiliar, this is what we call the Lonnie roller coaster, which means I'm just going to ride the energetic wave. Welcome. When you look up your angel numbers, you find the definition that most resonates to you. I also subscribe to where your eyes land the first time is what is meant for you, because where our eyes land are our first thoughts. That is going to be an intuition or an intuitive connection, which means it was the first thing that happened. So that is also to help us, work on, identifying our intuition. So what I was saying on the, hey, mind games, thank you for the love. What I was saying before about language and what I've been being taught about language is we need to just pay attention. I sent a message to a friend who I was just like, yo, I finally broke him. And they said, be mindful of the language that you use, the energetic vibration of the word that you use. Now, I am also being taught to listen, to be still, and to be quiet, and to have patience. I'm being taught a lot right now. Like, this classroom that I'm in is like crazy town. And so, oh, Caden is doing Caden right now. Anyway, so I'm learning a lot right now, and one of those things was being able to take redirection from my peers, right? You guys are all, I have surrounded myself with wise counsel, mind games. As we begin to communicate more, you'll become part of my community and part of this conversation, the fact that you're in my field awareness. If you speak to me, then I'm going to receive what you say to me. You know what I'm saying? But I'm open to receiving, and we as women of color and melanated people, we need to learn how to start taking correction and redirection from our peers, because our peers are our mirrors. We're not surrounding ourselves with people who don't have meaning to our lives anymore. We are now surrounding ourselves with people who can feed us, which means if I say, hey sis, this is something that I observed, then we can now say, okay, that is an area that I need to work on. And that is what I was talking to my husband about. You see how I brought it back to the whole reason why I came back on here? Boom. And that's what I said to my husband. I was just like, when I say something to you, instead of trying to find a reason to be offended by what I say, or, say, well, that's not true, how about you say, you know what, I see how you can see that, and I see how I can work on that. And so, like last night, we've been going through what we've been going through. Y'all just got to keep up on live when I hop on here to spill my business, because I be telling all my business, y'all. But it's for purpose, right? Someone in the community has to come forward and saying, this is what it looks like underneath. You know what I'm saying? Y'all see what it looks like on the top. but I want people to see what it looks like underneath. And I know there's a group of people who are standing by, and it's actually a group of people who actually are cheering me on. But there's a group of people who, if things go south in my life, are going to be like, I told you. You know what I'm saying? Because there's people who are unauthentic. There's people who move in fake love and fake energy. And I'm not saying it's any of us. What I'm saying is there's people who will cheer you on and stare in your face and tell you, go, boo, go, boo, go. Get your bag, get your thing. And the moment it goes soft, they are also the person that's standing there, I told you so. So you have to be mindful of who you speak to and how you speak to them and the information that you give them. As transparent as you guys believe that I am, there's a lot of things that I keep to myself. The things that I share, it just means that I'm more open than maybe you are. So you think I'm telling too much. I'm telling all my business. I'm not. There's things that I keep to myself because those are the things that I value. But the things that I actually do share, it don't matter. God told me in 2013, those of you who are unfamiliar with my origin story, God told me in 2013, my people will perish for lack of knowledge. My people will continue to suffer and replicate the brokenness generation after generation unless someone comes forward and says, me too. So I started the Me Too movement back in 2013 when I started a blog called Lonnie Lifestyle, also the name of my merch line. Make sure you pick up your merch. Support the community that supports you. But I started my blog called Lonnie Lifestyle where I literally just talked about my life. At that time, I was just telling my business, but I also was learning lessons from telling my business. So I didn't know, I intentionally derived meaning from everything here. In 2013, I didn't know that's what I was doing, but I was still deriving meaning and lessons from the things that I was experiencing. And so since 2013, I've just been telling it because someone has to be willing to reveal the underside to understand that we no longer need to live in shame. And that's what Spirit told me in 2013. My people are ashamed. My people are hiding humanity. You're human. Don't be ashamed for having a human experience. Don't get in front of your friends all shiny and yeah, girl, I got it all together, because all you're doing is teaching the next generation how to mask. There's this woman who I admire, but they're setting up a platform to be an influencer. And when I say they are setting up a platform to be an influencer, right? I need people to come so that we can film this conversation. And I'm just like, you're fabricating healing. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're setting up an environment so that this can take, it just really, it bumped up against me because I'm just like, no, I don't need to set up no healing, nothing. Like, this is just what happens. I just need your permission. Hey, can I film this conversation? I don't need you to, hey, can you come so we can sit down and have a conversation? I could film it so we could pretend like we're healing. No, because if you are doing me a solid, you're like, yes, sis, I'll show up and come. If I'm not in the headspace, or if you're, we'll say you, if you're not in the headspace for the healing, if I don't have the language, because it's a language. This is why you've been going to therapy for years and you still ain't had no results. This is why you've been going to church for years and you still ain't had no results. This is why you have been doing whatever it is that you've been doing in your life for years and you still have not received any results. It is because whoever is your teacher is not actually connecting to your soul and helping you elevate your soul. And it's also a difference between I'm going to tell you what to do and I'm going to teach you how to do it. Very few people even know what they're doing, even though they've done it. Like, I can't teach you how to walk. I don't know how I figured out how to walk one foot in front of the other. But there is something that happened in here, and here, and here. There's something that happened that created the space for me to learn how to walk. So if I can figure out what happened here, here, and here to create that, then I can teach you how to walk. And that is my gift. I have figured out how to heal yourself. I have figured this shit out. Like, I told myself 2 years ago, I was like, I'm gonna figure life out. I don't know what that means, but I'm gonna figure life out because I'm tired of not knowing what the heck is going on. I'm gonna figure this out. And those of you who've been rocking with me, you know everything that I say that I'm gonna figure out, I figure out. And so I have figured life out. So I have figured out how, when I talk to people, I hear what they're saying. It goes into my pineal gland, and then, it does what it does in there, boom, and I actually hear what they're saying. And then I can tell them how to work through what they're working through. So if you have not booked my coaching service, one of my energy worksheets, pick up my book, or watch one of my videos, please do so. That is all of different ways that you can connect and start healing yourself. Any energy that you feed into me is actually feeding energy into you. If you buy my merch, it's a feel-good saying on it. Know your worth and add tax. Loving the skin that I'm in. Collaboration over competition. So if you buy my merch, you're putting things on your body that is empowering to you. So not only are you thinking and being empowered, you are wearing empowerment. You are adorning your body in empowerment. So even my merch has meaning. You know what I'm saying? If you buy my book, my books are educational tools. So yes, you are supporting me by purchasing my book. Thank you. But you are also buying a book that's going to evolve and change your life. So you truly are doing for yourself. True selfishness is selflessness. You're doing for me, but you're doing for you. Everything that I offer is literally to help you, but it's also helping me. Yes, you book my coaching sessions. Yes, you are putting energetically money in my pocket. Thank you. I eat the cost of my coaching sessions. You know what I'm saying? On paper, it looks like a lot of money. But when I put it into practical application, me and my husband have sat down and ate something that can actually heal me. So am I gonna not have that one, king crab leg meal with the trifecta sauce and the corn on the cob and the potatoes? Yes, am I going to bypass that to go get some healing? Something that's gonna change my life? Hell yeah, heck yeah I am. You know what I'm saying? And so everything that I offer, yes, it's going to elevate me, but it's going to change your life with intention, right? I remember I went through a phase where I was psychic hopping when I first came into my spirituality. In 2008, 2009 is when I really had my first awakening. 2008, 2009. I met this guy at work. He didn't work with me. He was one of my clients. And we would have inappropriate conversations in the respect. I actually did end up sleeping with the man, so I guess it did get kind of inappropriate. But, we would have inappropriate conversations because we would talk about our regular lives. I wasn't an accountant, but I worked in accounts receivables. Yes? Then look in the hallway for your underwear. Look in one of those buckets. I was in accounts receivable, so we were supposed to be talking about his portfolio. I'll call it a portfolio. His accounts, boom. But we would just talk about spirituality. And, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. So I've been having teachers, like if I could run through my life, those of you who are in my orbit, I'm a teacher for you. Whether you identify me as that or not, if I'm teaching you something, I'm a teacher. When the student is ready, the teacher will appear. So those of you who are getting hard on yourself and be like, man, I wish I had a teacher. I wish I had someone to guide me through. Hello? You know what I'm saying? So you have someone that has come into your field of awareness that can guide you through whatever it is you're working through. So you have to have the intentions. When you have a moment of my time, make sure you use it wisely so you are asking the questions that you need, because I talk to you guys. I don't hold everything behind a paid door. I don't. Just know if you want to get into that real nitty gritty. But I'm open to you DM me and asking me questions. I don't mind feeding into your soul. When you win, I win. When I feed into you, I feed into myself. Because everyone is a mirror. Let's go into mirrors. Everyone is a mirror. Any advice that I give you, I'm giving to myself. So you have to understand, if you are giving someone advice, you are giving advice to yourself. So this is being the observer in life. Anything that comes out of your mouth is actually you speaking to you. And God has set it up so beautifully that different people, because the people that you surround yourself with are people who are like-minded, energetically, vibration on the same field as you. So when they come into your field of awareness, when you are talking to them, they literally are bringing up a topic that is going to be beneficial to you. Past, present, future. We don't know. I like the power of 3. So if it is not something that I am presently dealing with, I know that it's going to come into my field of awareness in 3 days, 3 weeks, 3 months. It might come in 3 years. It may come in 30 years. I don't know. But I know that everyone that's coming into my space is planting seeds. And that's why you'll say, oh, you'll see me say, oh, I remember when I was watching this movie and this one random line stuck in my head. But because it's one random line stuck in my head, now I can apply it to this situation that came up in the future, and now I can decipher what's going on. So now I can have more discernment and more meaning in these moments that are happening, because every moment is a freaking, it's a thing. You know what I'm saying? This is a thing. This has meaning. If you were sitting here, whatever words are coming out of my mouth, and don't take no notes. It's not necessary. It's not necessary for you to play this back and because what I'm doing is I'm imprinting on your subconscious. I'm talking to your future self. I'm talking to whatever needs to be talked to. So you, in your conscious brain, ain't even got to know this conversation is taking place. Because I'm talking to the you that needs this information. And when the information is necessary, it will manifest and materialize. And you, because you are actively living your life and you are being intentional in your life, you're going to be like, oh, I remember when Lonnie said, make the connection, go through it at ease. You know what I'm saying? Spirit is putting breadcrumbs in front of you every step of the way. Every step is a step necessary to make the next step. But if you are not taking note of the steps that you are taking and taking inventory while you are going through each day, take inventory. Caden, you don't have to yell. Just tell him you're looking for your underwear. No need to yell. It's okay. Pipe it down a little bit. Each step, thank you for the lovery. Each step, each day, breadcrumbs. And if you just pay attention, Look left, look right, look up, look down, look inside. Look. Pay attention. Anything that's insignificant. One thing that I've been teaching these young kids who are just like, oh, I don't want to journal. I'm like, just keep a daily timeline. At the end of your day, write down 3 things that mattered, that you paid attention to. Oh, there was a red car that was parked where it usually is a black car. I don't know. Just something that you paid attention to, because if you paid attention to, it is not insignificant. Anything that catches your attention has a purpose, even if it's just for you to be present. You have to discern what its meaning is. So that's a little tangent I went on. On to the hubby. So we've been going through what we're going through. And yesterday, because I had class last night, and he just swears I just am doing something in class, right? And he was just like, oh, so what's the class called? And I was like, it doesn't really have a name. Well, what do you do in class? I was like, I don't know what I do in class. And I get it. I understand the way that I'm answering these questions. Like, okay, what are you doing? But I really can't describe what we do. We're doing the mental, the spiritual, and the physical training of the body. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm just like, I don't know. I can't really describe what we do. He was like, okay. And so he was just like, well, how much does it cost? And I was like, well, yada, yada, yada. And he was like, okay, so yada, yada, yada. It's just that's not a portion of, hey, Alexandria, that's just not a part of what I want to disclose, the costs of it and the fees and all that different stuff. So he was like, yada, yada, yada. And I was just like, you know what? You sound like you want to be argumentative. It sounds like you want to talk at me. And accuse me without accusing me directly, so I don't want to be in this conversation. So I'm going to put my headphones in. So I put my headphones in, and he's just like, I feel like you're being disrespectful because I want to talk about this. And I was like, no, you want to talk at me and you want to accuse me of doing something. I don't even know what you're accusing me of, but I'm not going to entertain your insecurity. So if this is a space that you want to be in, you can be in it. I don't have to be in it with you. And so, this isn't play by play. This is what I can remember. And so he leaves and he comes back in the room, and Sparrows is like, ask him if he wants to have a conversation, because that has been the whole thing. I was like, I am not talking to you until you're willing to have a conversation with me. You can talk at me all day. I don't have to respond. But when you're ready to have a conversation, let's go. So he comes back in the room, like, would you like to have a conversation? He's like, actually, I would. And I was like, okay, what would you like to talk about? I mean, what's going on with us? What's going on? And I'm just like, I don't know. I was like, at the end of the day, hey, Ivy Joy. I was like, at the end of the day, the Ivy Joy show. I don't want to cut you short, but can I call you Ivy Joy? Thank you for the love. He was just like, what's going on with us? I was like, at the end of the day, the success or the failure of our marriage is in your hands. And he was like, well, I don't believe that. I was like, it is, because, okay, all right, thank you, Ivy Joy. Y'all check out the Ivy Joy show. I don't know what it's about, but it's a show, and it's one of our community members, because they are on this live, so go and check it out. I was just like, the success or the failure of our relationship is in your hands. And he's just like, I don't believe that. And I was like, it is, because I have truly come into the space of, when a woman's fed up, there's nothing you can do about it. Now, I'm not fed up. Thank you for sharing the live. I'm not fed up in the respect that I'm done with my marriage. I am fed up to the point where I have now become the observer. Do you understand? And I said this to you earlier, Ree, where emotion creates a space where you cannot practice discernment. Not saying you cannot. Nothing is an absolute. So I have to pay attention where it makes it difficult. You have to make an extra effort. So what you'll see is I'm going to start repeating myself, trying to find the right language, because I need to start restructuring my language. So emotion makes it to where you have to put more effort into solving an issue and actually identifying an issue, because you have emotions in it. That's why my daughter was able to identify the fake love that was happening in my house before I was, because she was not emotionally in it. She still had some walls up. I removed the walls, so I was just like, well, no, it's this, it's this, it's this. And my daughter was like, no, it ain't none of that. It's fake love, and I'm not doing it. And so I woke up to the fake love, and I was like, well, I'm not doing it either. I am here to heal my family. I'm not here to play healed. And thank you for the love. And so I told him, I was just like, okay, woman's fed up. So I'm not fed up in the respect that I'm ready to walk away from my marriage. I'm actually fed up to the point where I am going to save this marriage. Like, I'm here. I ain't going nowhere. He may quit, but that means he can't go through this restructuring. But the restructuring is taking place. I'm done pretending. And so now I have popped out of my existence, and now I'm the observer in my life. And so any emotion that this physical body would want to experience, because I am living my life from this space in this respect. I live my life from this space in all kinds of respects, but there's other areas that I'm still emotionally attached to, which the 4 agreement says, don't have any emotional attachments. Just go through and flow. And so my relationship is one of the last pieces where I had to go detach myself and now observe my life. That way I can have these very difficult conversations without energetically being involved in these conversations. Because the conversation me and my husband last night had was definitely a conversation where I would have started raising my voice, and he actually started raising his voice, because we're talking about restructuring and changing. I told him, do you know that you are actively fighting evolution? I was like, if I use this language, would you understand that by resisting change, you are fighting evolution. And do you want to be on the side of evolution that is actually fighting it? I'm not fighting evolution. If you're fighting change, you're fighting evolution. I am evolving and you're fighting my evolution. Do you want to be on that side of change? I'm telling you, Ivy Joy, big time. And he was just, he got quiet. And he was just like, yeah. No, he didn't say that. I was like, yeah, But anyway, I'm telling you, I think deeply, my friend. And so anyway, what's going on with us? And I'm just like, you're the deciding factor of what's going on with us. And he said, I don't believe that to be so. And I was just like, well, I don't want to talk unless you talk the way that I want to talk. And he was just like, I was just like, look, 99% of your life can be spent speaking however you want to speak. You could talk to everybody in your life the exact same way that you talk to everybody. Everybody, 99% of your life, talk to them however you want to talk to them. But when you talk to me, you are going to talk to me the way that I want to be spoken to. Nobody else needs boundaries. Nobody else can have standards. But when you talk to me, you must coincide with my boundaries and my standards. And you must put some respect on it. You must talk to me the way that I want to be spoken to. And I was just like, the way that I want to be spoken to, real queen shit, put my crown on, because this is where we're at. I'm done playing peasant. This real queen and king stuff. We doing it or not? And so, and I'm not saying I'm doing this right. This is the first manifestation of me breaking a cycle within my family. Because what happens is me and my husband bump up against each other, on the fake love tip, and we stop and we separate, as much as a husband and wife can separate. We still sleeping in the same bed. We're not talking to each other, but we separate. And then we, have a little feel-good conversation, which would have been last night. After last night, we would have come back together. And Spirit was like, rub your booty on him a little bit. I was like, no, Spirit didn't tell me that. My mind said, rub your booty on him a little bit. My spirit said, don't do nothing. Ice this, get out until he does what you want him to do. Because I am a powerful enough being in his life that I can make him change. So you have to make sure whoever you're pulling this thing with, you are pulling it with someone that you have the leverage to pull it with. Because if you're pulling it with someone, thank you for all the love, friend. If you're pulling it with someone that you don't have the leverage to do it with, you're going to lose them. Which, I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing, but what I'm saying is, I can't pull this with my stepson. Why? Because my stepson ain't worried about me. I ice his ass out and he'll be out. You know what I'm saying? But my husband loves me enough to where he's just like, okay, how do I get back in her favor? She said I must move how she wants her to move, how she wants me to move. And I was like, I'm not trying to change you overall. You be the friend you've been, you be the who, not the father, because I'm coming for that too. You're going to improve in that area too. But you be the friend you've been, you be the son you've been, you be the barber you've been. If you're looking for a barber in the Arizona area, check out Dre Cuts on Booksy. You be the everything that you've been up to this point. But when you come into this house, you be the father that we require, and you be the husband that we require. And in return, I will be the wife that you require, and they will be the children that you require. But what all that means is accountability, but it also means understanding. So last night we had a conversation about understanding. He's like, where'd you get that word from? He always wants to say that I'm picking up and becoming someone else. I was like, actually, I learned understanding from Ion in 2023. So you thinking I went and picked something up from that N-I-G-G-A. You over there with that N-I-G-G-A. No, I'm over there with my teacher that you'll never know because you just have a problem with the fact that my teacher is a man. You over there having one-on-one sessions because I posted a video where he was standing in the video and then he wasn't in the video and nobody else was in the video. Why? Because I can't film other people. I can only film myself. and he was standing next to me, and I kept him in the video because I always want to remember who my Shifu is. I want to have record of who this man is that is changing my life and evolving me to the next level that God brought into my field of awareness so that I can evolve to where God is taking me. And so my husband is, insecure in that. And I was just like, this is just your insecurity manifesting. This has nothing to do with me. In the 13 years of life that you've known me, I've never shown one iota of being unfaithful, not being a woman of my word. Any of the things that he's accusing me of in this current space is really just him. He's just like, well, when a person's energy changes, we didn't use the word energy, I'm using my own language, but when a person's energy changes towards you, it means they directed that energy towards someone else. I like that word, virtue. They directed their energy towards someone else. I was like, friend, you don't know me. Because if you knew me, you would know that I can energetically turn myself off in one area and I don't need to redirect it somewhere else. I was just like, yeah, just because I'm not giving you what you want from me, because you're not giving me what I want from you. So just because other people, you maybe, if you're not doing this here, you must go do it somewhere else. I don't move like that. If I'm not doing it here, I'm chilling until I get what I want. That's how selfish I am. But in that selfishness, I'm elevating him to his higher space. He just doesn't know it. He's fighting it. And if we got to fight our way to the top of the mountain, dang it, we gonna be fighting all the way to the top of the mountain. And so he's just like saying what he's saying, and I'm not arguing with him. I'm not raising my voice, because I've come into a space where I have finally decided I'm done arguing with anyone. I'm done yelling. I'm done raising my voice, especially looking at my 4-year-old who runs around and yells all the time. And now my 6-year-old is getting sent to the principal's office for cussing. And so there's all these different things that are manifesting in my children that are mirrors of things that are transpiring in my home. My 4-year-old running around throwing tantrums is literally just me and his father's behaviors manifesting in a 4-year-old. So now I have to really do some self-identification within myself, and knowing that, okay, there's some work to be done, because your 4-year-old is mirroring you back to you. And of course it's exaggerated, he's 4. But if the behaviors that I am presenting for him to emulate is what he's doing, then I must eliminate the behaviors. You understand? So your kids are literally reflecting back to you the worst of you. Not in a bad way, but in a way that they're going to pick up all the things that they identify as things that adults can do, which are your bad behaviors. Kids aren't allowed to do the hypocritical things. Kids are allowed to do, the cutesy stuff that we do. But behind closed doors, they're doing the adult behaviors. So when your kid is called into the principal's office because they're cussing, it's because the people around them are cussing. You know what I'm saying? Now, I ain't gonna say I'm done cussing. Y'all already know. I've cleaned up my act a lot. But, it's just like, my 4-year-old is like, I've made the point. Let me read these. Let's see. Period. Raising him up to match up that vibe. Exactly. I'm not willing to release my husband, but what I am willing to do is have the patience to elevate him to where he needs to be. And before, I was fighting with him because they're like, well, you can't force anyone's evolution. Oh no, I'm going to counter that. I sat in that for a little bit, but now I'm going to prove it wrong, because he coming kicking or screaming, or he getting out. Not getting out like I'm kicking him out. This is his house. My name ain't on nothing, but he's gonna have to leave this relationship, or he's gonna have to learn how to be within this relationship. And so, please leave. No, I don't want you in here.
Why is it on your phone?
No, but I want you to leave, please. Please shut my door. It's too loud. Please shut my door. Shut my door. Don't play victim. I asked you nicely. Go. Shut it. It's still not shut. Sorry. Y'all gonna get some real moments on here. Accountability, right? Now he gonna sit at my door and make a bunch of noise because he refuses to take accountability. And I refuse to raise the next generation of men who do not take accountability. So it is very important that me and my husband stay together because my children must be raised by me. Because, I love you back, Ivy Joy. I truly do. Thank you for the love. I'm not raising the next generation of young men who do not know how to move the way that they need to move in order to share space with the opposite sex. And I say the opposite sex because the expectations of the woman, I don't want to use language that is limiting or exclusive. That's not what I'm trying to say. What I'm saying is women just got greater expectations of self and of others than men do, period. So if I am raising my sons with the intentions of raising heterosexual males, whatever they choose to do is what they choose to do, but I am raising with the intentions of raising men who will couple with women, I am not going to raise them to be the next generation of problematic men for a woman. No woman deserves to have to fight with my sons to get them to move how she needs them to move. You want to benefit from me, but you don't want me to benefit from you. And that's not what we're going to do. That's not what I'm raising. So in that respect, just on the strength of that alone, I must stay in my marriage because my sons cannot be left out there to be raised by a man. I'm just joking. I got men in the community. I'm just joking. Thank you for the love, guys. So anyway, we're having a conversation and I'm just like, I say something and he's like, okay, I understand. I was like, do you truly understand me? And he's like, yeah. I was like, okay, so demonstrate that you understood me by repeating back to me what I said. So I would be what some of you would be referring to as speaking to him like a child. I'm not speaking to him like a child to demean him. I'm speaking to him how I would talk to a client. I'm walking him through the steps. So I was like, repeat back to me what I just said, but I want you to use your own words. So he repeated back to me what I said, but he used all of my words. He just said them all jumbled up, but he just repeated me back to me. I was like, well, the beautiful thing about Spirit's gonna give you some breadcrumbs before you get in the show. There's some practice sessions that happen, right? So a few days before, I realized different mirroring techniques that the people that you talk to are mirrors for you. And so in talking to my daughter, I was just like, I realized that what I'm saying, you're filtering through your third eye and you're making it make sense to you. And now when you repeat it back to me, you're repeating it according to your understanding. And it's not for me to say, no, that's not what I meant. It's for me to say, oh, thank you for the new perspective of what I said. Because it's not that she's not picking up what I said or what I meant. She's deriving meaning from what I said. Do you understand? So when I was speaking to my husband and I was like, okay, repeat back to me what I said. And he repeats back to me exactly what I said, new perspective. He repeats back to me exactly what I said. I was like, well, you didn't understand what I said. I did understand what you said. I was like, no, you didn't, because if you truly understood what I said, you would be able to say what I said to you, but use your own words because you now have derived your own meaning. And because you haven't, and you cannot find any other words to attach to what's going on, means that you only understood the words that came out of my mouth. You did not derive meaning, which means we will be here again. And I was like, see, this is the way that I want to talk. So we can't talk the way that I want to talk. I was like, we can talk. It is a new language for him, and I have to teach him. I was like, we can talk the way that you want to talk, but we can talk about what you want to talk about, but we're gonna talk the way that I want to talk. I'm not engaging you. Now this is hardcore reprogramming. This isn't the new normal. I have to reprogram him. I have to have a willing participant, right? And this is why the success or the failure of my marriage is in the hands of my husband, because he can either choose to be taught and restructured and reprogrammed, or he can choose to stay the same. And then we've already did this, but we haven't the final version. And so some are teachable, others choose to be concrete. So my husband has a teachable spirit, but he hasn't moved into the space of going with the flow. There are some that are concrete, and that's why those are the ones that need to be left alone. Those are the ones that need to be left alone. My ex, right? Those are the ones that need to be alone. And that is why we as primary caregivers need to make sure that we are teaching and raising our sons to have teachable spirits. My children sit up and talk to me. You were married for 16 years. Whew. Bless your Ivy Joy. We're 7 years together, 6 years married this February. Did it for the kiddos until my last child was 10 to have gained the core personality trait. Yep. We do what we need to do to protect our children. But because I understand that the teaching doesn't stop. Like, I don't have conversation. I did this with my kids, so it's not just my husband. I did this with my kids. I told Angel the other day, I was like, all right, class is in session. I'm not talking to you unless I'm teaching you, just so you're aware. But what about the things that I want to talk about? Get somebody else to do it. Or find a way to talk to me about the things that you want to talk about in the way that I want to talk about it. Because I'm no longer having, how was your day? It was good. What made your day good? Oh, because, so-and-so talked to me. Okay, so how did talking to so-and-so make you feel? Well, it made me feel this way. Well, why did you find validation through that person instead of find validation within yourself? Oh, well, that's something to think about. Yeah, it is. There's some self-reflection points for you. We talked about your day, but you also healed through your day. So we can talk about what you want to, but we gonna talk the way that I want to talk, because we ain't standing still. No mo. And so this is what, I'm talking to my husband, and so I broke the code. I was like, this is how you do it. You have to separate from them, remove from them what they desire, that which they desire. And when they come back, usually when they come back, we have that one good conversation and they act like they understand, which they don't. And then things go back to normal. Now, how we break this cycle is you separate. He has to come back, or they have to come back. I don't know what we're working with gender-wise. I'm speaking from my perspective and what I'm going through. He has to come back. You can't come back, because then the ball goes back into his court. So you have to hold control. The reason why you're here is because you release control somewhere, and not the pervasive control. You separate, he comes back, and now the ball is back in your court, and you create your terms. So I'm in the midst of creating my terms. However long you wait, I'm waiting for, he gave me 6 years to get my mind right. So he gets 6 years of my time to get his mind right. He made some progress in 2023. He's making progress now. Cat Williams really kicked the door open for the young master. Cat Williams, that whole interview really got this man in contemplation. I was like, okay, whatever it takes, Spirit, reach him. Help me. This is God's work. All I'm doing is being guided. And so after we had our conversation last night, there were a lot of points. Bailey came in at some time, and they were I tried to be a bridge there. And both of them, expressed that one didn't see an issue and one was like, I'm not interested in working through the issue. And I was just like, okay, this is the last time that I'm going to be a bridge here. So I just want you both to know that any conversations that go forward in the future between you two has to be initiated by either you or you. And you being the patriarch, you being the head of household, you being the father figure, I hope that you're the one to initiate that. He's like, well, if she doesn't want to talk, I was just like, she doesn't want to talk today, so does that mean that she never wants to build a relationship with you? Are you willing to give up on that? I was like, there's a very big difference between me and your kids. Me and his children, there's all this between us. Now, I removed it. I'm open to whatever you got to say. Cuss me out. Talk to me however you want to. I don't care. Get it up off your chest. Heal through it. Whatever that looks like. I'm okay with it. I'm taking accountability. I'm owning my But they're unwilling to have those conversations with me. They're unwilling to admit that there's an issue there. Therefore, we can never move past it. Therefore, we stay in the space of fake love, which means our relationship is as good as they allow it to get. His relationship with my children, he has been the father figure for them. He has been the type of father that he's been to them. And if he is willing, my children, because I have raised them, have the skill set to be able to do the work to remove those walls. And now they genuinely can have a pure relationship. My husband got mad at me because he was just like, I feel like you're coming at me, because I was like, Angel was in here crying because of the idea of us getting a divorce. And I was sitting here and I was sad because I was just like, the quality of father she's crying over. I was like, dang, you crying over a person that invests this much or this little into you. Please leave. What? Because I'm on live. I don't want you in my room. If you open my door and you see me sitting like this, just go back. Please leave. You can come when I'm done. Thank you. Yeah, I'm almost finished. Please shut my door. Thank you. And so, yeah, I was done reading the Bible. You're correct. I did say when I'm done reading the Bible, but then mommy went into another whole little tangent. So allow me to have my space. Please shut my door. I do have to go because I'm hosting a sister circle at my house tonight where, I'm going to bring some like-minded women together so that we can just commune and be in each other's energy. I'll go live during it so that if the ladies are okay with it, I may not. I may just do the little flyby videos so that you guys, I'm in Arizona. So we can get together. We're just going to sit around the fire. Yesterday was the full moon, but I feel we can still be in the full moon energy and vibe out, because what I realized was, this is off topic, but what I did realize when I was talking to my daughter, it's not that we're cutting each other off, is that we are so connected energetically and vibrationally that we can start anything that we've been contemplating. We can start it and the other person will finish it for us. So whatever questions we've been asking, we literally can come to each other and say, this is what I've been thinking about. And the other person will be like, "Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da." So they actually are reflections. We're mirrors to each other. And I was like, it would be cool if I got in a room of a bunch of people who know how to telepathically speak to each other, because that's all it is telepathy. I was like, I wonder if I got a bunch of spiritual beings in the same room, what'll happen? So I was like, okay, yesterday was the full moon. I was in class. So today is still in the energy of it. I invited some of my sisters over, and I was just like, we're just going to sit around the fire and we're going to speak soul to soul and we're going to heal each other. That's the friendships that we should be seeking. That's the connection that we should be seeking in Atlanta. Oh, it's a thing. It's a thing, Ivy Joy. I done already gave you a nickname. It's a thing, healing each other. Every relationship can be something beautiful. The content that we consume can be something beautiful. It can even be some dumbery, But even in that dumbery, we're deriving something. Like Whoopi Goldberg, I'm about to do a video on this. Whoopi Goldberg was like, you cannot be friends with your children. And everybody's like, yes, yes. And I was just like, Then you wonder why you're not friends with your children until they are old enough to understand why you were the way that you were. But if you work with your children, you must be friends with your children because you're their first friend. You wonder why there's so many fake friends out there. It's because their first friendship, which was you intentionally or unintentionally, you were a fake friend to them. And now your kid is out there being a fake friend because you cannot be friends with your kids. So, I have my opinion on that. And it's just people just speak with so much authority with bad information. That's bad information. You must be friends with your children. I am able to save my children from a lot of mistakes because they come to me first. They don't come to me to comfort them. They come to me to help them choose whether or not they're going to do it. And I don't tell my kids not to do anything. I'm just like, I wouldn't do that because I hit them off with every freaking angle. But also, I was like, I'm not telling you to do it, but I'm telling you how to survive it, if that's the choice you make. And I'm telling you what to look for, so once you get in it and you start seeing, okay, mom wasn't talking out the side of her neck, they can pull themselves out a lot sooner than to where they're completely depleted. If we become our kids' friends, then we can help them develop their discernment. We can help them help expand their field of awareness. They're not going in blind. They're going in with a little bit of stuff. But if our kids can't even talk to us about sex, if our kids can't even talk to us about, having a boyfriend or a girlfriend or a significant other, if our kids can't talk to us about whatever it is that they can't, we're of a particular faith and they want to be of another faith, but they can't even talk to us. Like, there's some people who have to privately practice their spiritual practices because their parents will not allow it in their home. Okay, then go eat, dear. There's a kitchen and an able body who can help you. So use your brother. Please shut my door. Thank you, Ree. Yes, thank you. Always, always. Have a great day. Thank you for the love as well. And so, you must be your kids' friends. But yeah, I had the conversation with my husband, and I have to go as well because I have to prepare for this gathering tonight. Unless everybody stays in the backyard. If somebody come in my house, let me clean this baby up. Because the spirit of keeping my home clean to my standards lasted a month, but I got tired of running behind people. Hey, Bonnie Von, you ran across my mind. Oh, Jill Scott licking ass. Hey, friend, I miss you. But you out there living your best life. You deserve it, friend. So we had our conversation, and I was just like, look, I'm only giving you access to me when you converse the way that I want you to converse. And what's going to happen with this and why I did this is I'm going to elevate his ability to start going within and healing himself and getting to who he is and finding out what he thinks. Because when he said, I felt you were coming from me as a parent, I was like, no, but what you should feel is, maybe I can do better, because he bought the boys a t-ball set for Christmas, and we're going into February and he hasn't played t-ball with them. And I was just like, he's like, well, I've been passing the ball back and forth with them. I just haven't played t-ball with them. I was just like, yeah, but why don't you actually do what you said you were going to do? Don't do a version of what you said you were going to do. Actually do what you said you were going to do. Actually show up for these kids. You know what I'm saying? More than what you've done. Because I was just like, boom, here we go. I was like, Angel's mourning the idea of you. And I was like, do you feel in your heart? Do you feel in your heart that you have shown up to your greatest capability for Angel. And he said, I know you don't, so I'll just say no. And I was just like, no. So does that mean that I'm diminishing what you've done? Or does that mean that tomorrow you could show up in those areas that you identified that you have not shown up? Can you be a little bit more for her than you have been? So that if she ever says anything, you could say, I did my best. I know that I did my best. With every single one of my children, every interaction I have with them, I am doing my best, or I know that I'm not doing my best. It's not that I'm oblivious. Like it said in the Bible today, when you unintentionally sin, that's completely different than when once you know that you're sinning, you got some work to do. What you don't know that you're doing it, you're allowed to move in ignorance. But once you are no longer ignorant, you got to make some changes. So if you are dealing with anyone in your life and you are not giving your best, and you know you're not giving your best, you are cheating yourself, you're cheating that relationship, and you're cheating that person, and that is a choice. And so, I don't know what's going to happen with this situation. I am rooting for my family. I am rooting for my marriage. And what I am doing, regardless of what anybody else believes, is I am saving my family and I am saving my marriage. And in doing so publicly, I am helping other people save their family and save their marriage, because I am transferring skill sets, not the what to do, but a possible how to do, because there's infinite possibilities. So this is my classroom. I am a science teacher. So I am teaching a theory. I'm expressing, I don't know if I'm using the right language because I'm not really a scientist, like a learned scientist. I'm just a scientist. We're all scientists. We're here to explore and figure stuff out. But this is just a theory I'm working out. The understanding that if I want him to communicate the way that I want him to communicate, that means he only gets to communicate with me the way that I want him to communicate. And by him communicating the way that I want to communicate, me, not anybody else, me, the person with the skill set that I have, which is to evolve people and change their psychology and help them figure things out and heal through it. That is my skill set. That is what I came to this earth to do. So if you don't know me, I'm Lonnie Appleton. I am a healthy family advocate. I advocate for the health and the wellness of ourselves, the restoration of ourselves to factory reset, so we can now rebuild ourselves to our highest capability. And as we evolve and heal ourselves, we can now evolve and heal our relationships with our children. We can now evolve and heal our relationships with our spouses. And now we can go out to the community, which then goes out into the world, and we energetically change the vibration and we create the world, if at least in our homes, that we would like to exist in. It's possible. I'm doing it. I offer coaching services. I have books, mentorships. I do energy worksheets. Check out my website, LonnieLifestyle.com. I have dope merch. So there's many ways for you to connect in and start doing this for real work. We don't do feel good over here. I'm going to offend you. Anytime you're offended, that is a growth opportunity for you, not for you to sit in and be like, oh, she done pissed me off. After you're done being pissed off, do the work. That's what we do over here. So I just wanted to update you guys on what's going on with me and my marriage and my husband, and how he was saying he feels taken advantage of and unsupported in this moment. And I was like, well, how do you feel taken advantage and unsupported? It's not, well, I don't know why you feel that way. No, why do you feel that way? And he's either going to say whatever, or he's going to be like, man, or he's going to be like, this is how I feel this way. And now you can respond and say, okay, I understand that. And then we can go. Don't justify, right? But if there's actual misunderstanding, clear that up. We don't justify bad behavior anymore. You did what you did. It impacted the person the way that it impacted them. Own your crap. Heal through it. No justifications. So he was like, man, I treat her in relation to Angel, I treat her the best way that I can, but I was like, no buts. No buts. There's nothing a child can do that can qualify you not doing the best you can for them in any circumstances. I had to learn this myself, so this isn't coming from a judgmental space. You must always work to reach that child because you were given that child, whether through marriage, through birth, through whatever. You were given dominion over that child, which means you have a role to play in that child's life, and you got to figure out what it is. That's your work to do. Reach that child. Thank you for the love. Vonnie Von Von and the Joy Show. But yeah, what was I saying? I told him you could say because. I did this because, or I haven't shown up because now once we go into because, now we have areas that we can focus on. But it's saying justification, this is why I didn't show up. We don't care about that. Because now we have places to do some work. No, I didn't show up because, okay, now let's work on those things. So when he said he was feeling taken advantage of and all those different things, I was like, okay, why? Thank you for sharing the live. I was like, okay, why? And he was like, because no one's been helping me pay these bills and y'all just see me struggling. I was like, well, you understand that we sat down in October and had a conversation as a family, and we all agreed as a family that I would not get a job until January because I'm working this social media thing. I got all my little fishing poles in the water. You know what I'm saying? You could shop my merch, you could book my coaching, you could get an energy worksheet, you could donate straight to the Cash App. There's different ways that you could support the community that supports you. So I got all my fishing poles in the water. I told my family, if things don't pan out by January, I'll go get a job. I was like, do you remember that conversation? And he was like, yeah, I remember that conversation. I was like, I got a job in January, right? He's like, yeah. He was like, but I thought you were just sitting around doing nothing. I thought you weren't trying to find a job. I was like, so you created a narrative in your head. I didn't do anything except for do what we agreed upon doing. But because you want to look to be offended by me and feel unsupported by me, you chose to be in the victim space. I was like, so is that something that I did? Or is that something that you created? And he just got quiet. I was like, okay, so boom, check the box. So then he said, will you let your kid talk to me any kind of way? I was like, okay, you've been in my child's life for 14 years now, and I've only witnessed her talk to you crazy once. And the one time that she talked to you crazy, it truly was her speaking her hurt. She's not enough in her feminine energy or feeling safe enough to be vulnerable in front of you so that she can truly be vulnerable in front of you. So she has all that bravado in front of it. But if you can look past the language that was used and the energy that it was under, you will see that this is a child who is hurt and who is telling you how you have hurt her. But you want to get offended by her and you don't want to hear what she's saying. You just want to hear and feel how it's coming out. She doesn't know how to be vulnerable in front of you, so she's not. So she's going to come at you and say it with her chest, but what is she saying? I was like, that's why I allowed her to do it. I also allowed her to do it because it's not for me to enforce respect between you and my daughter. It is for you to figure out how to connect with her and create that space of respect. That's why everybody comes to me in this family and they're like, so-and-so is acting up. Why? Because everyone listens to me. Because I have figured out how to foster respect with everyone. It's not perfect, but it ain't what it is with everybody else. I was like, it's real, Vaughn. And so I was just like, I can't make anyone respect anyone. It is for you to figure that person out and what they need to respect you. And it's also for them to figure you out and what you need to respect them. That is earned respect, not respect for position. Two different things. And so I was just like, I didn't get in between it because that was for you to correct. I couldn't correct that. And so I was like, do you understand that? I was just like, so I didn't allow her to speak to you any kind of way. She spoke to you how she spoke to you, and because she was speaking her truth, I allowed the moment to happen. And it was for you to get that respect from her. And that was what that was. So I was like, do you understand that? He's like, yeah. I was like, so you can't sit here and say that you feel taken advantage of and disrespected when I have not taken advantage of you, nor have I disrespected you. Now, if you do feel taken advantage of and disrespected by Bailey, that is a conversation for you to have with Bailey, to have with Angel, to have with Michael, to have with Caden, or whoever who is actually doing that. I am not the one to focus your attention on and make your enemy simply because I birthed them. My responsibility for them in that arena ended the moment I pushed them out of my body. They're their own person. And now you got to figure out how to work with that person. Same as me, which is what I've been doing all 2023. Actively working to figure out how to work with each one of my children. We finally had a breakthrough with Angel, my 11-year-old Vaughn, so we're doing some good work with her right now. I'm breaking through with Caden, my 4-year-old, understanding that all of his personality traits that are bothersome personality traits are really just over-exaggerated manifestations of what he sees. Yelling and, raising your voice when someone gives you some feedback and, this energetic exchange. That's what he's witnessing. That's what's manifesting in his 4-year-old body. So I'm doing a lot of work, really picking up what's going on around me to heal through it, because we're not pretending anymore. We're not playing nice anymore. I will remove myself energetically until you can play the way that I want you to play, which ultimately elevates you and creates you into a new being. So I'm just unlocking him, and he's going to do it my way. Or hit the highway. One of us hit the highway, because like I said, this is his house, so I'm the one that's going to be out. I'm going to be sleeping on somebody's couch, so I'm hoping he get his stuff together, because I'm not trying to be couch surfing at 42 with 4 kids. All right, y'all. I thank you so much for the opportunity to come before you and to share space with you. I wish you all well through this weekend, and until the next time we meet again. We no longer say bye because that's too final. So I will say peace, and I will see you later. And I thank you for all the love, all the shares, and just the community that you guys bring me. You all mean so much to me. And without you, I'm glad you caught me as well. You caught some good stuff too, friend. Without you guys, I really have no outlet. You know what I'm saying? So you guys are as important to me as I feel and I hope that I am to you. So thank you. I appreciate you. Enjoy your day as well.